Okay, so here's today's workout. Again, you can pause, read through it, or else just kind of have a look at the videos in a second. So a few different things going on. We're going to start first with just some kind of glute and core work. So I'm just doing some marches here. If you have two kettlebells, we can just do that rack position and a conventional or traditional rack position. If you just have one weight, we can do it this way. Um, Again, I'm trying to kind of use as little kind of movement side to side as I change feet. Looks like there's a lot of movement here. It didn't feel as much when I was doing this, but what we're trying to do is I'm trying to brace through my abs as well here, squeezing my glutes. And like I said, minimal kind of shifting side to side. And we're going to shoot for 10 repetitions on each leg on this one. So again, really good for kind of core work and also for glutes. Then we're going to move into the kettlebell squat curl or prying curls. So we're getting bottom position of squat. Again, I want the elbows inside of my knees. So I'm like kind of prying or pushing my knees out, but I'm using my elbows to do that. We're just going to go for the curls here. And again, with the weight I have, I've gone for 15 curls. Keep it around 10 to 15 curls depending on what weight you have. So we're going to go 3 rounds of this. We're going to do our kettlebell marches or dumbbell marches. We're going to do 10 each side, and then we're going to get into our squat position here, and we're going to do 10 to 15 curls. Again, it's going to be 3 sets. So the second block of training is walkouts. Just going to do 5 of these. So I'm trying to do here, I'm not particularly brilliant at these. I'm just going to reset to kind of a long spine position. I'm going to walk myself out. Trying to walk the arms a little further, but trying to stay slightly kind of hollowed. I don't want to overarch my back. I don't want to lose kind of tension throughout my core. I think that's one of the things. If our back arches too much, our lower back, we're losing that brace, and also then it's going to be probably running a bit of pressure into the lower back. So when we're doing this, if our back's a little kind of tender, don't walk out too far. But really make sure you're pulling your belly button in and you're squeezing your glutes under again. It's hugely important. So 5 of these guys out and back. Little hamstring stretch in the return. Then from there, we're going to go into the hip thrusts. We're going to go for 10 each side. Again, only staying within range where you can keep that lower back flat, glutes active and core engaged. So I don't want to kind of push as high as I can and overextend or overarch our back. It's not what we're looking for. I won't really get much glutes there. So chin's tucked, squeeze through at the top. So at the top of each repetition, a little squeeze and hold for a second, okay? So we're not just blasting up and down, open squeeze and then down. Then after the hip thrusters, we're going to move into just some stretching here, just hamstring flossing. So I'm going to grab my hamstring, bring my knee just kind of in front of my hip, I guess, or even straight up and down. And from here, all I was doing is I'm just flexing and extending my leg. So I'm going to go 10 repetitions on each side here. And don't rush through this movement. And only work within your kind of your range, your flexibility here. Don't try and blast through or kick beyond a certain point. So get a bit of tension as you're extending the leg, and then bend. So we're going to go for 10 repetitions on each side. Again, I can keep my head back on the floor. 10 and 10. So that'll be 3 rounds in total. So we're going to do the walkouts for 5. Then from there, we're going to go into hip thrusters. We're going to go for 10 on each leg. And then with these guys, the hamstring floss, we're going to go for 10 on each leg as well. So part C of the workout, we're going to do some nasal breathing, so some aerobic work. We're going to do 5-minute blocks here. The key here, guys, is we're trying to breathe through our nose only for the whole duration of the block for the 5 minutes. So all I'm doing is I'm just picking 2 movements here. I'm just going to do a kettlebell squat or a goblet squat for 1 repetition only. Then I'm going to do a push-up for 1 repetition only. And I'm just going to go back and forward for the 5 minutes. Again, guys, the key and it's hugely important here is that we're not breathing through our mouth at all. It can be called mouth taped breathing as well. So it's pretty obvious. You just get some tape and you tape up your mouth. But I think that might be maybe a bit overkill. If you have the discipline just to close your mouth and not open it, it's hard to do. Give it a shot. So 5 minutes nasal breathing only. So why are we doing nasal breathing? Well, there's a lot more benefits coming out and research being done around this type of training. But one of the big things, I guess, is what nasal breathing does is it adds more resistance to the airflow. So what this does is it increases the vacuum in the lungs. So basically what that does then is it increases the oxygen transported to the muscles over time. This type of conditioning can also be very effective in bringing down the resting heart rate over time also. And again, we've gone through it in the classes, there's numerous benefits to a lower heart rate, which is quite obvious, but also at the minute too, in terms of reducing stress, switching off the sympathetic nervous system and activating the parasympathetic nervous system can be quite beneficial in times like this too. So also again, just the limitations on traveling too far at the minute, and if we don't have access to row machines or cardio equipment at home, this is another good way of just trying to keep our aerobic fitness in check and even work on improving our resting heart rate. So you'll notice here on this clip there is no sound, no background sound, because I was basically sounding like a Hoover trying to breathe through my nose. And another useful insight and pro tip is to make sure you have blown your nose before you start this workout, which I failed to do. And I think at some stage, if you look closely, you might see a snot bubble or two, which is just delicious. So yeah, so make sure you blow that nose, clear those airways, and then get going. It's interesting too, because definitely by the last couple of minutes, not that particularly panic sets in, because obviously you can really open your mouth if you want to, although I'm trying not to do that. The temptation was definitely there once or twice, but it does get a little bit unsettling or unnerving. But again, I would traditionally, or typically would not be very good at nasal breathing. I tend to probably breathe through my mouth an awful lot because of nose issues and bangs to the face over the years. So it's probably something I should be incorporating more of into my own training. And I think even in terms of just trying to work on controlling our breathing and just narrowing our focus to what we're doing in the time or in the moment, it's another beneficial or useful activity. Oh, sneaky nose wipe there. So depending on where we're at, we might need to change the pace of our movements, but I'm just trying to keep it again aerobic, sustainable. And I'm not going back and forth too fast where there's increased risk of or temptation to breathe through my mouth. Over time, I'm sure I can go faster or, counter add repetitions in. But all I really want to do now is just get a stimulus where I'm moving consistently for the 5 minutes. So when the 5 minutes are done, we can take a 2 to 3 minute rest. Within that rest, we can kind of breathe through our mouth if you want to. We can maybe look into some static stretching possibly. And then what we'll just do for today is we'll get back into a second block. And again, you can change the movements. I mean, you could do like a deadlift, you could do dips, but I think just push up at the moment for minimal equipment, push up and squats probably the handiest thing to do. Last rep there, and that's 5 minutes done.